In stillness doth truth resound most nobly, for 'tis not crown, but heart that ruleth the wise. Lil Wayne. Now today we are talking about the absolute worst mods to do to your car. Now I'm not going to be talking about super specific mechanical mods. I'm not going to be talking about much in the engine bay. This is going to be more stuff that you can notice as another driver. So basically I'm going to be taking each car mod on this list and ranking it from acceptable all the way up to here. So acceptable, I get it. I probably wouldn't do it to my car, but I get it. Next, we have tacky, which look, this car mod's kind of tacky. That's it. I don't know what else to say. Then we get up to pretty bad. This is when these mods are seriously starting to cause problems for me and maybe other people. And you should seriously, if you have them on your car, consider removing them. Then a tier above that, we have remove ASAP. You need these mods off your car. I'm telling you, they do not add any value and they probably remove quite a bit of value. And finally, war crime. This is just the worst of the worst, all right? I don't expect that many to be on here on this list, but we might have a few. Anyways, let's jump right into the first one. We have intense camber or stancing your car. Now look, I am all for a bit of stance on a car. I think a lot of cars have really high stock ride height, even if they're sports cars, and this can make them look kind of like almost an SUV. Like they could be a lot cleaner if they're lowered a bit. Then you take it one step further after lowering your car to camber. Now, my opinion on camber, I think if you accept the risks and if you do it properly and you don't overdo it, it's not bad at all, right? So either you know exactly how to do it yourself or you get it done by a professional. I'm not talking about some guy off Facebook Marketplace. I'm talking about professional. And if you don't overdo the camber and you don't overdo lowering your car, I don't think this is that bad. I actually think it looks kind of cool. This is going into acceptable. Next up, I got to hit you guys with a good one right off the bat here. We have straight piped exhausts. Now you're probably expecting me to come from the angle of how annoying these things are. Probably expecting me to say something like, it's selfish to drive a straight piped car through a neighborhood at 3 a.m. and wake everyone up. You're probably saying a lot of those things, but I'm actually here to disagree, all right? If you are a real man, you like the sound of a straight piped exhaust, taking out all the environmental factors from your exhaust, taking out everything that causes it to have less harmful emissions, taking out all the noise isolation, that is what a true man does. So I wish there was a tier below acceptable, but this is going right into acceptable. I love straight piped exhausts. Okay, next up for a more serious one, we have up badging. Okay, immediately, I'm not even going to let you guys guess what tier this is going into. It's remove ASAP. Let's talk about up badging, okay? So the whole point, I assume, of people who up badge their cars is to impress people. Make them think that you have a higher trim or a better car than you actually have. Let's just take what we have here, an M car, for example. Let's say you have a 328i and you up badge it to an M3. Now there are two groups of people who will see your car. First, there are the people who don't know enough about cars to realize that you have a fake M car. Now what's the problem with these people? These people do not actually care enough about cars to care that you have an M car. So yes, they won't notice that you've up badged your car, but they also don't care. That leaves the other people who do care that you'd have an M car. But these people also know enough about cars to know that your car is not a real one. So then it's like, who are you fooling when you're doing this? Absolutely no one. Except there's a small middle demographic. And that's the people who care enough about cars to maybe care that you would have an M car, but not know enough about cars to realize that it's fake. And that's like 13-year-old boys. So if you're really out here trying to impress middle schoolers with up badging your car, get some help. Next up, I know you guys know exactly what's coming. It's eyelashes on your car. Now look, is it tacky? Yeah, it's tacky. But do I really care? No. It's usually done by moms who are pretty harmless, probably pretty friendly, and make good cookies. So yeah, tacky. Next up, underglow on your car. Now in theory, this sounds cool. There's like a white shadow or something around your car. It looks kind of cool at night, except it doesn't. It usually looks pretty bad, to be honest with you guys. And add on to the fact that if it is not done right, it can cause serious electrical issues. For that reason, pretty bad. Next up, we have Burble Tunes. Now, Burble Tunes are usually done on BMWs. This is where I see them most, but they can be done on other cars. Here's the deal with them. In theory, they should sound cool until you realize it's just kind of annoying. There's not much to say here. I honestly don't think it's a war crime like maybe a straight piped exhaust would be. However, do I think it's worth it to have your car sound like a popcorn machine all the time? No. It depends on the Burble Tune. Some can be toned down. Some can be way too much. I'm going to split the difference. Put it right in tacky. Next up, we have aftermarket spoilers. I'm not talking about duck spoilers or lip spoilers. I'm talking about big wings like you see in the picture here. Now, You might be saying, yes, a lot of cars look really clean with the spoiler. Think like GT3 RS, Civic Type R, WRX STI, and I would agree with you. But the common factor with all those cars is that they come with the wing from the factory. If you're having to do it aftermarket, your car most likely, and I say most likely because some might look okay with it, but your car most likely does not look good with the wing. I like to compare big wings like this to like buzz cuts, right? Most people do not look better with a buzz cut. Occasionally someone can pull it off, but mostly you do not look better with a buzz cut. So for that reason, I'm putting wings in pretty bad, because if you feel the need to do them aftermarket, it's probably not a good idea. Coming in next, we have window tint. Now, a lot of places having window tint on your front windshield and your front windows is very illegal. For example, where I live, right? If you're in the back of the car, go nuts. But in the front, a lot of places deem it illegal. Now, I'm split on this one. If you're overdoing it to the point where no one can see in your car, obviously that's way too much, right? It's not just tacky, it is a safety hazard. However, for the most part, I mostly see people with front tint not overdoing it, right? They just got a bit to keep the sun out. And honestly, I think this is perfectly acceptable. I think the tint laws are way too strict in a lot of places. However, this is with the caveat that if you are like pretty much blacking out your front windows, that's a complete hazard, but I don't really see anyone doing that. So for that reason, I think it's perfectly acceptable. Next up, if you saw my first video, you saw I slammed on lifted truck drivers, but I'm here to talk about it from a more unbiased perspective. We are talking about lift kits. Now, here's the deal with lift kits, right? They may look good. They may have a bit of functionality if you do heavy off-roading, but they are actually really dangerous. Now, I'll link the video down below. I actually will link it this time. It's a Fortnite video. He's a motorcycle YouTuber basically talking about how lift kits are incredibly dangerous for high-risk people on the roads, that being pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists. And I completely agree, right? The field of vision on, let's say, a truck or an SUV is usually already pretty high, right? The lowest you can see straight ahead is not that high. Then you add a lift kit, right? And that brings the hood line of your car to like 6, 7, maybe even 8 feet. Plus, do you really think if you're crossing an intersection and there's some little kid crossing the street that with your 8-foot tall hoodline car, you're going to see him? No, right? Now, ideally, you see him ahead of time, identify that hazard and act accordingly, but that doesn't rule out the possibility that you drive through an intersection and maybe hit a pedestrian. That's really dangerous. And honestly, that makes this mod for me not worth it. Now, look, am I saying if you are a lifted truck or lifted SUV driver that you are necessarily a bad person? Yes. I think because of the safety hazard, I'm putting this one in pretty bad. Next up, this is not really a mod, but I really need to talk about this one. It is political bumper stickers. Now look, I, condone standing up for what you believe in, but at some point, like, why? You just gotta ask why, right? If you are driving around and instantly polarizing half the people around you to your car because of something that's on the back of it, it just begs the question, like, why are you doing that? It honestly serves no practical purpose. You're not going to convince anyone to vote for your respective party based on a bumper sticker. It just isn't a good idea. So for that reason, your vehicle, you bring it every day, you bring it to work, you bring it to Chipotle, like, why have a political bumper sticker? For that reason, it's going in tacky. Next up, we have debadging your cars. Now look, am I saying this is nearly as bad as up badging? Not even close. I would take a fully debadged car, every single badge removed, any day over a single up badge. However, I still think debadging your car generally just doesn't make it look very good. Yes, can you reattach the badges? Sure, when you go to resell, but it just doesn't look clean on like 99% of the cars. So it's not bad. It's tacky. Next up, colored headlights. This is an absolute war crime. Now look, does it affect much? No, but it genuinely looks terrible. For example, these red headlights, what are you trying to do? Headlights are supposed to be white, but like these red RGB purple like gaming mouse colors for your headlights looks so incredibly tacky. This is an absolute war crime. If you have color headlights on your car, not only are you probably reducing the effectiveness of your headlights, which are arguably one of the more important safety features of your car, but it just looks dumb as well. I promise you this stuff does not look tough. If you have colored headlights, pick the best color for them, which is white. White LEDs are the best way to illuminate the road, respectfully. Next up, we have custom license plates. All right, here's the deal. You're probably saying that's not that bad. Even that's acceptable. They can look clean. And sometimes I see license plates are acceptable, but so many times I see custom license plates. I just think to myself, I can't believe you paid money to get that put on the back of your car. That is your vehicle identification. For that reason, because of how much my eyes have been hurt from seeing these cringy things on the back of cars, gonna put them in pretty bad. Next up, we have blacked out taillights. This is basically when people want a cheap mod to do to their car and they decide, I know, I'll tint my taillights. How is that possibly a good idea? Your taillights communicate so much to other drivers. They communicate when you are slowing down or even coming to an intense stop. They communicate when you are making a turn. They communicate when you see a hazard or when your car is in trouble. Why would you reduce the visibility of that? It does not look clean. I promise you. I have never, ever seen this done right. I promise you this is just like these colored headlights. Nobody thinks they look tough. Not only does this make your car look like it came straight out of a police auction, it also impacts the functionality of your car and its taillights significantly. This causes a lot of safety issues for you and other drivers. For that reason, remove ASAP. Get these out. Finally, we'll round this off with a quick one. Anime stickers. They're tacky. Look, I've never been an anime fan myself. But am I going to slam dunk on these things like it's the end of the world? No. But seriously, if you have a clean sports car, I see these on a lot of high-end, nice sports cars. Why? Just why put this on here? All right, guys, that is all for today. If you are still here, if you're still watching the outro, you have no reason to, I truly thank you. Thank you so much for 5K. And if you're still here, let me just recommend that you guys keep commenting down your suggestions because I do actually take them into considerations in terms of video ideas or in terms of tier ideas that I may have missed. So please put them down below. Thank you so much for your guys' support, and I'll catch you in the next one.